This is the real reason why oxygen's levels fell. This is clearly a cut down tree, a giant tree. They covered this up by saying it's the effect of a volcanic eruption. Well, you can clearly see here the hexagonal structures of the tree compared to a volcanic eruption. There are thousands of these trees all around the world that have been cut down. They are clearly giant tree stumps. Take a look for yourself with an open mind. If you've been awake for some while now, you probably know they love to show the truth in plain sight. Well, take a look at this.
I have this poster that exposes every conspiracy theory on the planet. Today, we will unravel the truth on the moon. The moon is an artificial satellite that originated in another solar system. It was moved here thousands of years ago using elite technology known as tractor beams. According to an employee that worked at the top secret Air Force base known as Douglas, it's not even a moon, it's a station. It was moved here several thousand years ago from another sector of the galaxy. Let me ask you, what do all bodies in the solar system have in common? They all rotate. But the moon? It doesn't seem to rotate at all. According to Max Spires, a man who was for speaking about these sort of things, said, "The moon is a trap designed for your soul. When you die, your memories are wiped, and you are sent back down here." He died right after he said that. Have you ever heard the phrase, "The moon is a soul catcher"? When it is your time and you are crossing over, do not walk towards the light. Instead, turn around and step.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
looking at the Google solar farm. I've flown over that a few times before. It's a bunch of mirrors that surround a central tower. They reflect the light from the sun. They heat whatever's in the center tower to a boiling point. So it's a renewable source of electricity, and they're super cool to see. You can see it from hundreds of miles away because that tower just lights up.
C'est bon?
Amazing crop designs is not a circle, but a rectangle that seems to be a direct response to a message sent out into space in 1974. The message was a radio signal depicting our planet's location in our solar system and Earth's people, in hopes that it might be received and interpreted by an extraterrestrial intelligence. 27 years later, in 2001, this crop design appeared in England, along with what could be a self-portrait of the sender. This message matches the format of the NASA signal and describes a different solar system from ours, a picture of the sender, non-human DNA, and a microwave antenna they apparently used to communicate, rather than the radio antenna that we used. The antenna symbol had appeared a year earlier in exactly the same field, right next to a working radio wave antenna, like the one NASA used to send out the original signal. NASA continues to officially deny extraterrestrial contact of any kind.
К точке взрыва. Высота 4000 метров. Осталось 3 секунды. 2, 1, 0. Взрыв сопровождался световой вспышкой необычной. Полевой столб, поднимающийся с земли, быстро увеличился в объеме. Через несколько секунд после взрыва диаметр полевого столба составлял около 10 километров.
Да вот, ебать, часа 2 назад, хули, ебаный. Собака, хули, унюхалась. И все, мы хули, думаю, что за нахуй лежит? Смотри, бывший. Да я хуй знает, погоди, смотри. Вообще, ебать его копать, что за нахуй-то это? Ну, это понятно, что дохлый его будет. Да хлеб, короче, лежит.
Да, она не та же планета.
Полнейшая дохлятина.
Инопланетяне.
Ноги хули нету, ебаный, видишь, нахуй.
Разгрызли, наверное.
Вообще как это ебать тень. Непонятная.
Он уже, наверное, с неделю лежит, наверное, тут.
Но...
Если не больше.
Полнейшая дохлятина.
Инопланетяне.
eternity of fire and poking.
Yeah, less chat, more splat, pal.
Hey, Mr. S, I didn't know you butt cheeks. I want to live. No, you're too heavy. It's a glandular problem. Orlac, Chuds, mole people.
There is no escape from the fortress of the moles. No, except that.
Well, 2 weeks after earthquakes flattened much of the region and killed more than 46,000 people, southern Turkey has been hit by another earthquake. The country's Disaster and Emergency Agency said a 6.3 magnitude tremor.
Here's a mind blower for people. The amount of time between Cleopatra and the iPhone is shorter than the amount of time between Cleopatra and the established construction date of 2500 BC of the Great Pyramids.
It's wild, huh?
It's wild. Like, Cleopatra lived closer to the iPhone than she did to the construction of the pyramids.
I wish I could go back in time and date Cleopatra.
The real reason why we see this ripple effect happening in the sky is going to blow your mind. Now, this is what resonant frequencies look like when they are pitched into water. So different frequencies are being pitched into this water, and it creates different shapes and different patterns. Now, let's take a look at what this frequency does to sand, 4129. See this pattern? Looks very similar to this pattern now, doesn't it? This pattern happens because they are beaming ELF frequencies into the sky. And this is exactly what they are using to do this. It is called HAARP, and it's run by the military. Now, you can literally go outside and observe this yourself. They drop chemicals from planes, then they use HAARP to disperse those chemicals and block out the sun. Now, for all the sheep, all you gotta do is look into this stuff. They literally admit they're spraying millions of tons of chemicals into the atmosphere to block out the sun. And you can go look up the hundreds of patents the US has on weather control and doing exactly what I'm telling you. This is what a normal sky looks like, guys. And this is what weather modification looks like. This is why you don't see skies like this in Mexico, because they banned weather modification. They put this shit right in your face of all of your favorite TV show. Now, the reason I make these videos is because the collective consciousness is shifting. We could be one person waking up away that will shift the collective consciousness and in turn take down our suppressors. They have been deceiving you your whole lives, and the real truth to everything is found within. Peace and love.
Actually 1724. At least that's what some historians think, and it's pretty crazy. In the 90s, German scientists proposed something called the phantom time hypothesis, which basically says that 300 years of human history is missing. For our modern calendar, most of the world used to use the Julian calendar, in which an extra day was added every 128 years. So when the Gregorian calendar was introduced, there were some discrepancies. To make up for this extra day every 128 years, this calendar should have added 13 days, but it only added 10. Which would mean that 300 years of human history are literally unaccounted for. Which would mean we're actually living in the 18th century.
Shen Shiku's invisibility cloak. Shen Shiku is the deputy head of criminal investigation department at the Ministry of Public Security in China, and he claims that he has successfully made an invisibility cloak. He posted his creation on YouTube, where it quickly racked up views. He is calling his technology quantum technology cloth made of transparent material. He explains that his technology works by reflecting the light waves around it, so when a person stands behind it, it looks like they have disappeared. He further explains that his technology could be used by soldiers at night. Under the protection of his cloak, they would avoid night vision spyware.
What do you know about the history of human civilization on this planet? Researchers are baffled by what they are finding in the forgotten texts of ancient India, which point to a radically different and advanced civilization on Earth. These thousands of years old texts describe the flora and fauna of our planet so vividly that you will be left speechless. Not only that, they even talk about the existence of extraterrestrial creatures and their interactions with humans. The Padma Puran is such a text which says, there are about 900,000 species living in water, about 2 million non-moving living entities such as trees and plants, about 1.1 million species of insects. And what is so shocking is that It also says there are about 400,000 humanoid species in the known universe. The Atharva Veda mentions a peculiar type of creatures known as Kramayas. They resemble viruses and bacteria in their primitive forms, but have evolved to an intelligent state. Their planet is naturally damp and dark,